Why journaling is good for mental health. Ever wonder whether journaling might be really supportive to your mental and emotional well-being? Well, stick around because we're going to talk about the transformational benefits of journaling and how to do it effectively without stress. Welcome, I'm Kim Marie, and this channel is all about supporting women to step into their most empowered self so they can live their most fulfilling life. Does writing in a journal help with mental health? That's the question we're answering today. And we're going to dive into why journaling is good for your mental health, the practicalities of journaling, and how to journal effectively with some tips that are going to hopefully make it less stressful for you. First, I want to step into the practicalities of journaling. Now, when we think about understanding the mental health connection and why writing, I want to touch on a few different points. First of all, writing actually engages the whole of our being. It's active in our physical writing with our hands, okay? So there's an action or a will component to it. It is mental or in the thinking realm where we might be thinking about a topic or thinking about a response to a journaling prompt or something like that. And the thoughts are coming to us and we're physically writing them out. But often also those prompts and the thoughts then trigger emotions. And so we're tuning into our emotional realm as well. When journaling is done in a free form and we just relax into it and really enjoy this process of writing and connecting to ourselves and having some downtime, we begin to calm. We begin to feel more in connection with our true self, our authentic self. Our journals are beautifully done when they're not for anyone else to read because it's a place for us to express all of ourselves, anything that we're feeling. I always tell my clients when I'm encouraging journaling to write everything. Don't worry about whether there are curse words in it or whether it sounds awful or cruel or mean. And that's a topic for a whole other video. But ultimately what I'll say is in our dominance culture, so many of us have stories that we've been holding that hold us back, that keep us from being authentic, that tell us it's not okay to have our feelings, not okay to be who we are and express as we would like. Now, there is something called emotional and mental mastery where, yeah, we want to learn to express ourselves in ways that seem appropriate for the culture, for the society, but not in a way that feels oppressive or suppressive. And journaling can really help a lot with that. I personally believe a lot of mental health challenges that we're seeing right now, things like the massive amounts of anxiety and depression and other mental disorders that we're seeing, are largely stemming from the fact that we've not been encouraged to be our own authentic self. There's an incredible amount of cultural influence, we could say, or imprinting ancestrally or historically on all of us that basically tells us that we're supposed to conform, we're supposed to be like everybody else, we're supposed to do things the way everybody else does. And literally our souls are soul sick. We're feeling illness in our essence. And that comes from this lack of capacity to be able to create and connect with our truth. And journaling is such a powerful tool to begin to help that is safe, that's nurturing, that can be done on your own time, that's portable and very diverse. I've done other videos on journaling and I encourage you to check those out and learn more about ways of journaling. And one of the ways that you can immediately try is to download my free Journaling as a Path to Come Home workbook, which gives you 6 different tips about different types of journaling, different ways you can step into it. And it's a lovely guide with some journaling prompts to get you started. And it's an easy way to step into the process. So be sure to download that. The link is in the description. So how exactly is journaling good for mental health? Well, one of the biggest things is through the process of writing and responding to prompts and allowing ourselves to fully express, we're kind of having an emotional release. We can actually put words to what we're feeling. We can express ourselves in ways that feel safe and not worry about judgment or what anyone else is going to think. It's a way of processing our emotions and also letting go of our emotions. There are genuinely times when expressing our emotions publicly is not appropriate. It's not acceptable, and we need to work with our own issues. However, journaling is an opportunity to express them so that we can let them go, rather than stuffing them under the rug or continuing to process them and fester over them. Journaling allows us to process them. We can explore, where did this emotion come from? What triggered me in the first place? What's going on here? What are my needs? What fears might be showing up for me? We can journal about these things and really process and be able to connect more deeply with our own needs and our own truth. Journaling is also super powerful in the realm of self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is a capacity for us to be present and gain clarity. A huge number of the clients that come to me for coaching are talking about a struggle to have clarity around what they can do with their life. They're going through a transition. They're not sure what to do or what's next for them. Not having clarity is not a problem. Not having tools to help us find our clarity, or at least find steps we can take toward that clarity, is a challenge. And that's one of the areas that journaling can really help with. So in the realm of mental health, a lot of that uncertainty or feeling of lack of clarity can send us into a tailspin, and we feel confused or we feel caught up in our own hamster wheel of thoughts. Journaling can really help us process those and gain the clarity that we're seeking. Another aspect of journaling supporting mental health is that it eases our stress. I always recommend that you can step into a sacred space that you create or go to. Maybe you have a place in nature, or you sit outside on your porch, or you have a place in your home that you've created that is a space where you've set boundaries to be uninterrupted and you can journal safely, and that's your space. Maybe you light a candle or something like that. The minute you do that, the minute you put yourself into a space that feels nurturing and safe and calming, your stress reduces. And then the journaling itself can, even without going to that sacred space, have that same kind of effect. It's almost like when you open that journal itself is a safe space. It's yours. It's for you only. It shares your deepest thoughts, your deepest emotions, your deepest concerns and contemplations. And that generates a tremendous amount of safety for you and calms your nervous system and begins to help with what you're thinking and what your emotions are doing, and set you into a more neutral space, which is really what the essence of mental health is. It's this capacity to have understanding of our thoughts and our emotions and be able to integrate them effectively. So we've been answering the question of, does journaling help with mental health? And now I want to give you some practical tips for effective journaling so that it makes it easy to do and stress-free. So I already mentioned that you can download the free journaling workbook. That's a beautiful entry point to begin to journal without feeling like you're staring at a blank page and going, I don't even know what to write. What would I write? Why am I writing? I'm not sure what to do or how to do this. The journaling guide is a wonderful guide to get you entered into that and reduce that stress so that you're not stepping into it with all this anxiety and fear. So download that and take a look at it and use that as an entry point to get started. Now, if you are starting from a blank page and you have this journal that you don't know what to write and that's what you're trying to start from, allow yourself to be with that feeling. If you're feeling anxious, I don't know what to write, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, write that, literally. I know that sounds silly and it may seem like you're feeling anxious, like, why am I wasting the space in this journal? First of all, the journal is yours. Nobody else has to see it. There is no waste. It's a way to work through whatever is going on within you. So that is a really powerful practical tip, to just go ahead and write. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. If you have to write that 10 times, it's okay, because just the simple act of writing and allowing yourself to be in that space makes such a huge difference. You start to settle. You'll feel your nervous system start to settle if you allow it, if you have the intention to focus on the writing. And then what begins to happen is more inspiration starts to come. It's very similar to if you've tried meditation and you're trying to get quiet, but you can't get quiet because the noise is there and you're not quite sure how to do it. When you just allow yourself to return to your breath or your mantra, it's this process of settling in. It takes our body and our nervous system time to settle in, and this is why it can be so beneficial for the mental health. It's also very similar to fitness. When we start our exercise, the hardest part is always starting, right? The hardest part is getting out the door onto the trail or starting up on the treadmill or doing whatever it is that you're going to do. The hardest part is getting started. And so what do? We do the repetitive walking and movement, and we start up, or we put the video in and we try to follow the yoga video or whatever it is that you do. And it's once you get started, no matter how much you resist it and don't want to do it at the beginning, getting started helps you to start to settle into it. Well, journaling is no different. Everything that we do is a practice, and it exercises the muscles to get used to stepping into the practice easier and easier every time. So you've got to start somewhere, and just writing that you don't know what to write is a place to start. Now, another tip for effective journaling is to create a consistent journaling practice. Now, I don't want you to stress about this because a lot of people think, oh, I have to do daily morning pages, or I have to journal every single day, and if I miss a day, then I've messed up. No. Consistent just means on a regular basis, okay? So maybe you don't want to go 4 months without journaling, but it's okay if you have to go a couple weeks without journaling. It's just this idea that on some regular interval that works for you, you journal. Now, for me, that regular interval tends to be when I feel the inspiration. That's actually okay. And I feel it a lot. I often feel it naturally with the cycles of the moon. And I notice, like, I feel inclined to journal. I'm like, oh, right, it's a new moon today. No wonder I want to journal. Or, it's a full moon today. No wonder I want to journal. There's an aspect of honoring the cycle of the seasons. I definitely tend to write a lot more in the winter when I'm in inner reflective time. So for me, it's about inspiration. Some people need much more structure than that to feel like they're being consistent. They need to say, I do need those daily morning pages, or I want to write once a week. I have a friend that writes every Friday afternoon at the end of the workday to honor what has gone on for the week and to kind of close up the week and then prepare for the next week, to think forward a little bit about the next week. It's just however and whatever you want to do. But the idea, if you want to journal effectively, is to let it be consistent, because the consistency, just like I say, practice, right, is what helps us adopt these new habits and patterns that are so beneficial to us. So if we want it to actually benefit our mental health, creating a regular rhythm of journaling is what's really going to do it. In general, if you want it to be a overall support to your path and your journey and your mental health and your emotional mastery, having something consistent is what's really going to help you. Another really great tip for effective journaling is to have journaling prompts, because when we are prompted with questions, the questions can help us go deep into our psyche and really contemplate, what do I really think about that? What's going on for me? What is happening for me that, this is going on, or whatever's happening for me is creating a struggle in my life, or a trial or a challenge. Or maybe you even want to just share joys in your journal. But the idea is that having prompts can help you to bring forth the gratitude that you have, or maybe the fears that you have. Having any kind of journal that prompts you can be really, really powerful and helpful. And along those lines, I want to share a very special journal that I have that I put out every single year. It's called the Sacred Nights of Winter Journal. And that journal offers you lots of prompts. You definitely don't have to do all of them, but it offers you these prompts that you can jot down your dreams. You can talk about what's happened for your day. You can consider different contemplations on the theme of the year. And this year's theme happens to be living aligned with nature. So a very powerful way to maybe tune in more deeply to those seasonal cycles and moon cycles I was talking about. I'll be teaching a lot about those kinds of things in the journal and the laws of nature. So definitely take a look at the link in in the description for that, and go check out the Sacred Nights of Winter journal. I think you're going to love it. It's a wonderful way to step into journaling without feeling like you have to start with a blank page. Having special journals can be a really wonderful way to help us be prompted and focus on certain thing. And the Sacred Nights of Winter journal in particular helps us get through the darkest nights of winter, which is when a lot of us struggle with our mental health the most. That is when anxiety and depression can often set in for people. And I have had so many people go through the journal and tell me, oh my gosh, I did not have my usual post-holiday depression because I worked with this journal, and it made all the difference, and it made winter seem so much more magical and wonderful. And mental health is a really significant peak often in the holiday season. So I hope you'll check that out as a wonderful tool to help you journal effectively and move forward with that and support your mental health through the winter. Journaling really embraces the whole of your being. It allows you to feel more stable. It allows you to support the mastery of your emotions. It helps you reduce stress and create balance, and also ultimately come home to yourself and really tune in to who you are and what matters most to you, creating a sense of solace and peace and calm, which is what we all ultimately long for. And that is what I feel is a significant antidote to a lot of our mental health challenges. I hope you'll embrace journaling as a path to emotional well-being and mental health. And please be sure to share this with others, and click like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you have some experience with journaling and what that experience has been, or if you have any questions about it. I love responding to and answering people's questions about the topics that I'm sharing. And be sure to download your free journaling guide, take a look at the Sacred Nights of Winter journal, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.